Hello
Just
and welcome to the 2025 ARWS British Grand Prix from the Jurby Airfield Circuit on the Isle of Man. Today we have our first of two Grand Prix at the track over the weekend. On pole, it is a front row it's a front row lockout in fact for Holiday with Phillippe Nicolas on pole by 4/1000ths of a second from his teammate Tomo Kazuma. On the second row of the grid, big things are being expected of Martin McFly for the real home favourites, the Foxdale team. Of course, they are based here on the Isle of Man, and McFly here starting third, looking for his second win of the season. Alongside him on that second row, it is another driver seeking their second win. It's Yaël de Bock for Cascadia, looking to hopefully propel himself back into the championship fight. On the third row of the grid, we have Anu Vozu, who's just looking for any sort of decent finish for Scorpio. They've had a terrible time finishing races lately. And alongside her, it is someone who has not had a terrible time finishing races. In fact, to the surprise of everyone, it's our championship leader, Edvard Holm, for Simpson.
oh,
Reigning champion Takuma Taki will start from 7th position for Scorpio, with Marco Jancher for Euromotor alongside him, starting 8th. Just behind them on row 5, we have Gary Pacer for Cascadia and Emma Kickert, who has, I think, her worst qualifying effort in at least 18 months, if not longer than that. All the way down, starting in 10th position on the grid. She won the race here last year, so she'll be hoping to make some progress early on in this one. Ben Fleet will be starting 11th in the second Foxdale, and alongside him it is Bradley Dagnall in the second Euromotor. Kalon and Naoki Shinjo make up row 7. These are a couple of drivers we've had a lot of poor luck with finishing races and just general reliability, so they'll be hoping to convert those qualifying efforts into good finishes here today. And behind them, on row 8, are Katie May and Amy Gauthier for Jones and Checkmate respectively, with their teammates right behind them on row 9. It's Václav Malish starting 17th and Nathanel Cameron 18th. Both of the Adriaticas are on row 10. Mani Burrell from Akio Yamamura back from his one-race suspension. And on row 11, it's Pierre Saint-Laurent and Malik Zidane in the second Mecca. Aurora Summers has only just barely outqualified Alberto Cara, but it is showing some promise for the peak driver to be putting up a fight against the, of course, extremely well-reputed Cara for the Factory Yangwang effort. And on the final row of the grid, it's Fu Wen and Aria Havel. With that, the start of the race is just moments away.
come on, Martin McFly.
It is raining here on the Isle of Man.
Oh God.
Engines fired, waiting for the lights to go out and start this 64-lap race. And it's go! Nicola tries to cover off Cosmo, but she has a fantastic launch, and we've got contact in the back. Somebody's lost their front wing. It is Martin. It is not his front wing, it's his rear wing, in fact. Martin McFly's lost his rear wing. Oh, that's a very quick start from Marco Jancher. He's knocked the rear wing off of Martin McFly. That's going to be... That's terrible luck for the Northern Irish driver here. After a sensational qualifying effort to put himself up on the second row. Ooh, Ben Fleet there almost as the entire field struggles to find their way around Martin McFly. It is Cosmo leading from Nicolas. Yaël de Bock into third. A sensational start from Gary Pacer from 9th to 4th on this first lap. Emma Kickert also making great progress there. Anu Vozu, Yontra, Daniel, Fleet, and Holm are our top 10. As we've got McFly back into the pits. A big mess up here as Naoki Shinjo is getting passed by, in fact, one of the young ones. That's Alberto Cara. Sensational start from the Tropical driver. He's up to 15th on the first lap. Cosmo hanging on to that lead now as Naoki Shinjo's in trouble. I think I saw some debris there. So might have been some contact there. We'll take another look. Here on board Amy Gauthier. Oh, goodness! Gautier's lost her front wing there. Got caught out a little bit by Shinjo tapping the brakes through the Snuffles corner there on the approach to the bus stop chicane. So she's going to have to make a pit stop here as Taki taking a look up the inside of Edvard Holm. Akira Yamamura's car has cried enough. An engine failure on the Honda power plant. So that's more terrible reliability for the Honda W12 program as Roar Summers seems not to have had such a great start, but she gets around Rye Hevel there and takes over 21st position. And Hevel then immediately breaks her front wing. Oh my goodness.
This is a hefty start.
Okay, maybe not. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. It might have been just a trick of the light. Tomo Cosmo puts in the fastest lap of the race as we see Amy Gauthier coming out of the pits in between the two Cascadias. So this is good news for Yaël de Bock as he'll continue to try. Oh goodness, Yontra's gone wide and lost his front wing! Oh goodness! A lot of drivers struggling in these wet conditions as we see Taki taking a look this way and that against Ben Fleet, but Fleet hangs on to the 9th position. Holm unable to take advantage there. Holm is not in an ideal position there in 11th for the championship leader. As we see a Yontra duck into the pits. Holm here attacking Taki, trying to take that 10th position back. Taki tries to cut him off, but Holm retakes the position, so Holm up to 9th now with the pitting of Martin Yontra. Kara here is doing excellently to hang on to that position, as I think that's more reliability issues for Naoki Shinjo. It's a transmission failure for the mecha driver, and again, after picking up his first finish of the season at Imola, he's not going to get a second one here. Cosmo is really getting on with it here, really starting to pull away from Nicolas. We've got Kicker coming potentially under a little bit of threat from Anu Vozu. Taki now attacking Ben Fleet, and is that a bit of... That's an oil leak! That's an oil leak in Ben Fleet's Foxtail! Oh goodness! Terrible luck for the Foxtails here at their home race. And also, I'd like to point out that K1 is hanging on very nicely to these Ivory Turbos in that relatively underpowered Bentley, factory Bentley. He's doing a superb job here, and despite the fact that he has announced he won't be competing in a number of events later on in the season, particularly the oval races. But he's up here in 10th place, and Pierre Saint-Laurent will now be taking 11th as we see Ben Fleet crawling around on the outside of the track. Katie May up to 12th. Malish there attacking Kara for now 14th as Ben Fleet finally retires the car. So Ben Fleet joins the list of retirements here, including Yamamura and Naoki Shinjo. Nicolas able to fend off Yaël de Bock from now, but they are losing position as Takuma Taki is into the pits with a puncture on the Scorpio. Oh my goodness, that's not ideal for Taki. It's going to effectively mean he needs to make another pit stop in this race, but he should at least be able to finish. Yeah, we are expecting everybody to make just the one pit stop in this race. As Hevel is coming under threat here from Fu Wen, and Marco Yoncher closing in on the pair of them, trying to recover from his broken front wing. Yoncher getting past both of those cars in quick succession. Fry also trying to recover as many positions as he can as well. They'll need to be getting a move on though if they don't want to risk being lapped by Tomo Kazuma, who has or not, because Kazuma has developed an engine issue. Oh goodness, that is terrible luck for Tomo Kazuma, who herself has had many mechanical issues, and it seems like she's going to get another one here today. She's going to hand the lead back to Phillippe Nicolas here, as Yaël de Bock continues to chase the man he's been dueling with for this championship lead all season long. Of course, with their both their retirements at Imola last time out, that has, of course, allowed Holm to take over the championship lead, but they are both within striking distance to reclaim that, although I do know that Holm has moved up into 8th position, make that 7th with Cosmo's retirement. So, and with Kazuma holding the fastest lap, it means that the Holm might still be able to hang on to the championship lead as it will stand. As we see another one of the Scorpios into the pits, it's Anu Vozu who's broken her front wing. Not sure how she managed to do that, but she'll have to make an unscheduled pit stop to deal with that. So Nicolas lead now 1.2 seconds over Yaël de Bock. They've opened up a gap of over 4 seconds from Gary Pacer, who's doing his best to hang on to that podium position from Emma Kickert. Bradley Dagnall is under threat from Edvard Holm for 5th. And not too far behind them still is Kaelon, now up into 7th place, with Pierre Saint-Laurent defending from Casey May and Nathanel Cameron for 8th place. This is exactly the kind of effort one I think would be wanted to be seeing from his teammate here. Oh no, and Yaël de Bock is in trouble! Engine failure on de Bock's car! And that is another retirement here in swift succession. We're only on lap, we're only just starting lap 14 now as Nicolas starts the lap. Amy Gautier's also lost an engine as well. My goodness, that is so many retirements in quick succession here. So we're already down to 20 cars after just 13 and a half laps of racing. So Nicolas now has a lead of 6.7 seconds from Gary Pacer. Still holding off Emma Kickert as Dagnall there defending from the other Simpson of Edvard Holm. As we watch right on board with Pierre Saint-Laurent. He has a big queue of cars formed up right behind him. Of course, there's May, Cameron, and Malish not too far behind them is Burrell. Kara up to 12th position now. The recovering Anivosu is up to 13th with Yoncher and Prix 15th and 16th. Make that 12th for Vozu as she gets around Kara down the main straight there. Into the first corner. She's now attacking Amani Burrell for 11th. So Vozu quickly making her way back up through the field, as are Yoncher and McFry. McFry taking a look up the inside of Yoncher, but side by side into the Snuffles corner is not ideal. Taki also making his way through this pack as well. And at the tail of them is our race leader, it's Phillippe Nicolas. We will be hoping that this gaggle of traffic does not hinder him too badly in his hopes of hanging on to this race lead. Taki there deciding not to push it too hard against Kara there entering Snuffles, but is costing him a bit of time here to the likes of McFly and Yoncher ahead of him. Because I think I was speaking a little bit earlier about the expected one stop from basically everybody in this race. Should be, the pit stop window should be opening up soon in a couple of laps here, but it will be interesting to see if anybody has tried to take on fuel and manage their tires to the finish. I can't imagine they will, but you never know, somebody might have that kind of idea in their head. You see, Bozu has now worked her way up into 9th place. And takes 8 from Katie May without too much trouble. Thinks better of trying to make it a double overtake against Salaron into that corner. She'll instead make it on the run down to Snuffles here and back up into 7th position as Martin McFly is spun. Oh no! Oh, it's a disastrous home race for the Foxdale team. You can see he's getting around Vasa Malish here. And he just, oh goodness, he just got caught out by Cameron and had to spin trying to avoid ramming into the back of the Jodes, but that is going to cost McFry much more time and track position. As he waits for the entire field to get past and give him an opportunity. Gives the wall a bit of a tap there for some reason.
Who's that? Is it McFry? Oh god.
A disaster race for Foxdale. Nicolas continues to work his way through this lap traffic. Katie May continuing to attack Salaron for 8th position now. Holm having another look up the inside of Dagnall, but Dagnall hangs it on around the outside and there's no room there for Holm to make a move. Yoncher now attacking Salaron and May, and he takes 8th place. Taki next up to get around these two, and then it is our race leader, Phillippe Nicolas. Also looks to be threatening Cameron for 12. Trying the outside there, that's an interesting racing line, but it does not pay off for the Czech driver. Holm having another go up the inside of Dagnall, decides that that's not the way that's going to work for him, and gonna have to try and set up something down the main straight. And Daniel is in fact pitting now. This is a very early pit stop for Bradley Daniel, but it is a scheduled stop for the Euromotor. The pit strategy in this race is very much about when you make that single stop. I've heard some teams think they might be better off leaving their pit stop until about lap 40 or so. We'll see exactly when everybody decides to make that dive into the pits as we watch Pavel here holding on to 18th from Fu-Wen. Chinese driver there was not able to get the exit speed out of the final corner. Really challenge Edvard down this long main straight. Oh no, that's a lot of smoke coming out of Pierre Saint-Laurent. The Bentley engine in his factory Bentley outfit. Car. Oh goodness! Ooh, that was almost there. Oh, somebody else is retired as well. That's Amani Burrell for Adriatica. Suspension failure on the Adriatica, but it's also an engine failure for Saint Laurent in the Bentley. So 2 more retirements in quick succession here. We're down already to about 18 cars still running. And we're not even at halfway mark in this race. Evidently, the teams have tuned their cars very finely, and we're seeing a lot of mechanical failures as a result of that. One driver who hasn't had a mechanical failure so far is Kaelon, who's having a spectacular drive up in 5th position. He is being chased down by Anovozu in the Scorpio. And of course, not far behind them are Jancher and Taki, but it has been a fine drive for the Germans so far. We'll be right on board with Bozu. That is one ahead of us. Pacer hasn't been losing too much time to Nicolas over the last few laps, although that gap is now 8 seconds. He's also really been able to fend off the challenge from Kickert as well. Right after his spin, currently in 16th position. He's gotten around Fu and Havel, so once again trying to make the most out of what he can in this race. So I think Vozu's just gotten around one for 5th. And that is Holm into the lead, into the pits, rather. Into the pits, our championship leader into the pits here. Very critical pit stop, just shy of the half-distance mark here. Sensing crew fuel him up for the remainder of this race. And he will return to the track in 8th place, I believe. I think he's jumped past Bradley Dackel. That is Emma Kickert coming into the pits as well. So she's bailed out of trying to make the move against Kickert. And indeed, Kickert's bailed out of trying to make the move against Pacer, I should say. But indeed, Holm has jumped past Bradley Daniel in these pit stops. So that is some fine driving from our championship leader. Nicolas still in heavy traffic here, but holding on to a comfortable advantage over Pacer. Anovozu is in third? Oh yeah, of course, because Kicker pitted, but that is Okay, I guess no, that does make sense. Oh my goodness, and that is almost, Taki almost getting to the back of Yoncher there. Very tricky corner is Snuffles down the back straight away. Right on board here with Aurora Summer, just get an idea of it. Long bank straight away here. Especially in these rainy conditions, you do need to brake just a little bit for it. But you still need to try and carry as much speed as you can before hitting the major braking zone for the bus stops you can. Taki here, taking a look up the inside. Oh goodness, and Yoncher again throwing the block on the reigning world champion. Taki did gain a reputation last season for being exceptionally difficult to pass, and it does seem like a lot of the drivers in the field are very keen to repay the favor back to him this year, as Taki is bailing out and electing to pit instead. As Holman laps himself from Nicolas, that is Zidane there getting around Fu Wen. I think Zidane must have pitted, so he's making his way back through the field. Gary Pacer's been able to take the lead. Ooh, goodness. Oh, that is Fu Wen getting around Aria Hevel. Let's have another look at that. That could be a candidate for overtake of the year. Right around the outside of Snuffles. That is exceptional driving from Fu Wen. Fortunately, you don't have a particularly great camera angle here, but hopefully we can get a good view here as we see Zidane up the inside. Hevel backs out to allow him through, and Fu Wen takes full advantage to take 17th. Brilliant driving from Fu Wen. And our race leader is into the pits now, Phillippe Nicolas. From the race lead, as I was saying, Gary Pacer has taken the lead down a bit, and Nicolas struggled a bit with traffic. Pacer now inherits the lead. We'll see if he can make any inroads into Nicolas, depending on where Nicolas comes out into traffic. But I think Nicolas should be mostly clear of any other cars. That is Hevel there, still attacking Fu Wen, trying to retake that position. Oh my goodness, Martin McCry, it's been just one thing after another. He goes too wide coming out of the first corner and has broken his front wing, and now he has to make another trip to the pits. Hevel now is into the pits, as is Nathanel Cameron. Cameron has had a bit of a dark horse of the championship at this stage. He's now third in the standings. Just comes into this race 33 points behind Edvard Holm. Has finished every race so far this season, and has and 5 of those 8 finishes have been in 7th place. So lucky number 7 for Cameron, I suppose. Fry's made it back to the pits to replace that front wing. So that is Yonchu there getting around Kalon. We've got Kara into the pits. Bozu now makes her scheduled pit stop. Pacer continuing to lead here. And as we now hit 30 laps to go in this race, past the half distance mark, Nicolas having a bit of trouble getting back around Takuma Taki there. It's, of course, a lap down to Nicolas, but he is taking time out of Gary Pacer as we see Edvard Holm get back around K1 there. Fu Wen has come into the pits, as we see right on board with Nicolas there. Does not have the straight line speed to really find a way past the lap Scorpio of Kimataki. That is Zidane there, trying to find a way around Richard Carr, I believe. Yonter is now pitting. So that's Yonter making his scheduled pit stop there. Gary Pacer is still running. He's gone very deep into this race on this set of tires and fuel. He must be hoping on the fresher set towards the end of this race he can make a charge towards Phillippe Nicolas. He is losing a lot of time to the Frenchman currently. He has a bit of a lock up there through the bus stop chicane. That is a sign of the tire wear he must be feeling at this stage in the race. KT May into the pits with Jones as Pacer goes back and goes around past the pits once again. Starting his 38th lap, he has to be getting close to having to make a pit stop here. Nicolas brought the gap under 14 seconds, so he will retake the lead once Pacer pits. We see Bradley Dagnall now trying to find a way past Kalon. I don't think Kalon's pitted so far this race. So that is excellent driving, you have to say, from Kalon. Pacer completes another lap here. Still no sign of him pitting. Dagnall's gotten past Kalon. Take over 5th place. Also, it's escaped my notice so far, but Aurora Summers is up to 10th. She hasn't pitted yet. That makes sense. Okay, now we've got the drivers finally ducking into the pits. It's Kalon and Gary Pacer, which will hand the lead right back to Phillippe Nicolas. Nicolas takes the lead right back. Here comes Emma Kicker, and I think she's gonna take 2nd place. Gary Pacer is hopes of winning this race, taking a significant hit through the strategy pole. Might be still looking at potentially 2nd place if he can chase down Kicker. Not too far behind though is Edvard Holm, who's after a pretty poor start has made the most of his opportunities and looks set to pick up some more solid points for his championship challenges. Somebody's gone off at the first corner. Oh no, it's Vaslav Malish. Disaster race for checkmate with Gautier's early retirement and now issues for Malish. Looks like he just sort of misjudged the braking there and ran out of track trying to find a way alongside Fu Wen. So this is going to cost Malish a significant amount of time here. As I think that is Summers making her pit stop and ooh, Fu Wen there pinching Cameron to the inside there. No harm, no foul, I suppose. Oh goodness, that is Hevel losing it into the first corner as well. It's very tricky under braking here at this circuit. I think Malish has gotten back going again, as has, of course, Hevel now. But up front, it's all looking good for Phillippe Nicolas, who now has a 12-second lead. Malish has made it back to the pits. So he'll at least keep going for a little bit longer. Fry attacking Cameron for 11th place here. Fry's made 2 pit stops so far, I believe. So he presumably would have been in the hunt for at least a podium if he hadn't had all the issues he's had so far in this race. Zidane still cannot seem to find a way past Alberto Carr, so this is excellent defensive driving from the Tropican to fend off Zidane for 13th. Oh my goodness, it's more poor reliability for Scorpio. Anu Vozu's developed an oil leak, and the Koenigsegg has gone up in flames. That's it for Vozu. Somebody else has gone off at the first corner. It is Malik Zidane here, so Zidane looks like he might have overcooked it into the first corner, trying to chase down Kara and put the pressure back to him. Indeed, he did. Just missed his braking point and spun clean off. So that is race over for Vozu. So that is a 40.7 second lap for Nicolas on this lap. Kicker 3 tenths slower, and Pacer is very slightly quicker, but not. He might be able to catch Kicker. He's certainly not going to be able to catch Nicolas. Zidane is just seemingly content to sit next to the wall, it seems. At least gets it pointed the right direction, but I think he's going to have to wait for the Euromotor to come past. Yeah, we'll have to wait for a lot of this traffic to come through as well. This is going to be frustrating for the Egyptian, and of course for Mecca and Honda in general, as they've just had a horrific time with reliability. Of course, Yamamura also out, Burrell also out with customer Honda engines, and of course Shinjo, our first retirement, so this is the only Honda powered entry still running in this race. Zidane finally gets it back going again, but he's surely going to be our last finisher as things stand. Malish has just gotten around Elias Hevel for 15th place. It's going to be a tough order for him to catch up to Fuen ahead, though. Aside from, yeah, I don't think there are really any major battles currently taking place on the track as things stand. So it is going to be mostly a case in these final 15 laps or so of just hanging on to the car and track, and seeing that you don't make a big mistake, as we've seen so many drivers make mistakes in the wet here. Pacer's gotten the gap between himself and Kickert down to under 3 seconds, and the Price spun again. Oh dear! Right in front of the race leader, Phillippe Nicolas, but the drivers behind are aware and able to get around the Prix. He quickly spins it back around, blocks Marco Jancher, unintentionally, I'm sure, and gets it back going again, but it has just been a complete miserable race for Martin McFry and the whole Foxdale team, really. This is Don getting around Ryan Hell, but that's just to unlap himself. Pacer is still taking time out of Kicker. There might be a battle here coming shortly. 51 or 41.5 for Kicker, and it's a 40.8 for Gary Pacer. He's got the gap down to about a second and a half here, so the fight may well be on for second place between Kicker and Pacer here.
Pacer on the podium.
Pacer looking for, I think this would be, that's his second podium of the season. He scored a second place finish at Drama earlier in this year, but has otherwise had a lot of trouble with reliability. Generally been overshadowed by De Bock in terms of race pace. So this will be, if he can catch and pass Kicker here, that would certainly be a good boost to the confidence of Pacer. Looks like Kickert's managed to find a bit of time out there. She's more or less fought Pacer to a draw over that last lap. Gap stabilizing now at 1.3 seconds, but they are catching up to Nathanel Cameron. Kickert's probably going to lose a bit of time here behind Cameron, accelerating out of this final corner. Caught behind the Jones VW. Pacer will want to get this move done into the first corner, but I don't think he's close enough to really threaten Cameron, because that momentary hold up for Kicker got her got the gap down to just slightly under 9/10, but I think Pacer will have to have given some of that time back there being held up around the first corner. See the gap this time by. These two now, I think about 16 seconds behind Phillippe Nicolas, so really it's all smooth sailing for the Frenchman out front. Pacer there still actually very slightly quicker than Kicker on the previous lap, but still not in attacking range of the Simpson for second place. The next car these two will be catching is the Upper Jones of Katie May. Time is definitely running out for Gary Pacer. He's taken another 10th of a second out of Kicker. Still not close enough, though, to really make a move. Of course, he can't afford to be making a mistake either, because Edvard Holm not too far behind him. He would very much like another podium to minimize the damage that Nicolas is doing by really dominating this race since Cosma's early retirement. See the gap this time by. It's another tenth and a bit. Pacer's taken out from kicker. It is 0.6 of a second, the gap between these two. We only got 8 more laps though. This Lon is into the pits. Is there an issue? There's a loose wheel. A loose wheel on the Bentley, and that's going to cost him a position or two here. But fortunately, he was able to get it back to the pit, so he should be able to at least finish this race. Fry into 8th, and Lon will come out right behind Katie May, which means he's right coming out ahead of Emma Kicker, who's lost another couple of tenths to Gary Pacer. I'm not sure if this is going to work for Pacer. Oh, he's trying around the outside into the bus stop. That is not going to work. He elects to allow Kicker to hold the position, and he's going to try, I think, to have another go down the main straight here. Although there's a peak in the way on quarter exit. So again, Pacer not able to take advantage of the traffic there. In fact, that's cost him a few tenths of a second, and crucially, Edvard Holm now only 1.6 seconds behind the pair of them. Taki has caught Dagnall for 5th as well, so that is a potential battle brewing there. The Kicker now closing in on Katie May in the Jones. Just 5 more laps now. So if Pacer wants to get this done, he's going to have to make the move very soon. Lost a couple attempts that time around the track, so Pacer has a little less pressure from behind him. But he's not able. Oh my goodness, he's gone! He's gone off! Gary Pacer's off! He's spun!
Choke, choke, choke.
He certainly choked a podium away at the very least. Oh goodness, Gary! He's having a fantastic drive there, and just... It's almost like the steering just did not function for him. Reverses back onto the track. But it's going to be a little while before he can get back going again. Of course, this will promote Holm back onto the podium. Taki is through into 4th. There goes Janser through into 5th. And Pacer gets it righted. I think... Oh no, and Bradley Dagnall's in trouble. Engine failure for Dagnall in the Euromotor. So his path to the championship gets a little more difficult, does Bradley Dagnall's. And Pacer finally gets back onto the track. I'm not sure he'll be able to replace that front wing in time to come out ahead of Martin McFry, so he may lose another position here. Oh, and he's developed an electrical issue, it seems, as well, from probably being stuck in the rain out there. So it's all gone pear-shaped for Gary Pacer, but it is looking absolutely perfect so far Phillippe Nicolas. Oh no! Nicolas gonna puncture! It's a puncture for Phillippe Nicolas! And he's going to retire on the penultimate lap of the race! Oh, it's a disaster for Phillippe Nicolas! And now we wait for Emma Kickert to circle back around. And just like a year ago, Emma Kickert is looking like she's going to inherit a win here. What a sensational turn of events in these final few laps. As Kickert now comes around to take the white flag. One more lap for Emma Kickert. And Zidane spun off again at the first corner, but no issues there for Kickert, as she will just have to nurse it back around to the pits. No threat from behind from Edvard Holm. She easily allows Gary Pacer back through and comes through the bus stop chicane into the final corner. And Emma Kickert, after a year of waiting for her fourth career win. Oh no, and now she's developed a loose wheel. With seconds to spare.
What?
Oh my goodness, she manages to get it over the line just in time ahead of Edvard Holm. Kickert just manages to pull out that win. Oh my goodness. Edvard Holm there, only half a second away from back-to-back wins. Taki comes through to finally end Scorpio's streak of retirements here with another, I believe their third podium of the season. Prix fifth. Zidane is just going to, I guess, might as well just switch the engine off at this point. Pacer winds up 6th. Nicolas will be classified 7th at the end of this race. And McFry stopped on the cooldown lap as well. Oh my goodness. Chaotic moments in these final lap moments of the race, even after the race is finished even. But it is a very well-deserved race win for Emma Kickert. Of course, she dominated the opening race of the season at Monaco. And which was cruelly taken away from her from a mechanical issue, and since then she's just had an incredible amount of poor luck. And almost again it looked set to strike and rob her of the win, but she just manages to get it over the line ahead of her teammate. That is Kickert winning from Edvard Holm in a 1-2 for Simpson. I believe that's their second or possibly third 1-2. I'll have to double check that, but there it's Takuma Taki completing the podium and Marco Jantscher 4th. So a good points day for Jantscher as he's starting to get a little bit of a championship run going, I think. McFry manages to salvage 5th out of a horrific day for him. And Gary Pacer 6th. Phillippe Nicolas with a late puncture, robbing him of what was looking like a sure win. Kalon manages to take home 8th, so I think he must have passed Katie May in those final laps. Nathanel Cameron bags some more solid points with 10th. It's Cara 11th, Summers 12th, Malish only managed to recover to 13th, Fuwen 14th, then it's Hevel Daniel classified 15th, and Zidane 17th. Fastest lap of the race. Tomo Cosma, well, she was setting sail at the front of the field. She would have won this race going away had the car not failed her yet again. Nicolas bringing home the second fastest lap. That's some constellation for him. And Yaël de Bock, again, showing he has the pace to challenge the Holidays, the Simpsons. He just needs a bit of luck with reliability, it would seem. And with that, we'll see you next time for the Manxie Grand Prix tomorrow. See you there.